Hello everyone, this is Jennifer from Jennifer Biedermann Jewelry. Welcome back to another video. I have a really fun bracelet and project that we're going to make today. I made another video. It was a netted bracelet with crystal embellishments. It was a flat piece. We're going to be doing a netted base and we're going to embellish it, but this is in the round. And it's really, you know what, it was fast to make. I made it in one evening. So it took me a couple of hours, I would say, putting it down, coming back, and so on. Now, I'm going to show you the right way to do this because when I was putting this together, I was doing it really the wrong way. Look at this. It's flat in some places, it's not in others, it's really horrendous. Well, it's not horrendous, I mean, I could wear it, but it's really doesn't look its best, okay? This is the same size, but this one here on the left is a lot more uniform, and there's a reason, and there's a fantastic way to keep it like this and not get all squishy like this. So the materials you will need to make this project is you're going to need some size 8s. I'm going to be doing this color because I'm going to be pulling out all of these crystals and I'm going to start over. So you'll need some 8s. You will need some contrast color, a size 11. So these are galvanized silver. This is like a, what is it? Hematite color. And I'm also going to use some 15s, the same color as my 8s, and it's a galvanized silver 15. The crystals I'm using are these silver-coated 3mm crystals. And that was another mistake I did here. I used 3mm and I used 115 instead of 2. Anyway, I'll show you the right way to do this. So what else? You need a needle, you need some beading thread. I'm using a size 10 beading needle. And the most important thing is a dowel. That's the secret to keeping everything uniform. Now, if you don't have a dowel, you know what? I would recommend you getting a set. This is what it looks like. Let me move out a bit. It's just a dowel set 1 inch all the way down to 1/4 inch. And it's not expensive. I think this cost me a few dollars. They're wooden dowels. If you don't have this, I recommend just getting a beading needle or something that's 1/4 inch in diameter. Okay? Not bigger than that because this dowel, this size, made this size bracelet. So if you have it bigger, this is going to be a lot bigger. Okay? So wooden dowel 1/4 inch. On all of my tubular beaded bracelets, I do this wire core and clasp. I do them on all of them, as you can see, and I show you how to do this clasp in every tutorial, and I will show you again today. Because I'm not just showing you a technique. When I show you a technique, I'm going to make a full project with you from A to Z. So I don't want you having to go back and look for that video on how to make the clasp. I'll do it in this video as well. Okay, other materials. If you're going to use that wire core, you're going to need some cutters. You will need some round nose pliers. You will need also chain nose pliers. And also an 18 gauge, about a 10-inch piece of silver 18 gauge wire. Of course, depending on your colors, if you're going to use like gold and things like that, and if you have copper, use copper. Okay? Lobster claw, and a jump ring. That's my dog seeing someone out the window. I will pause this and I'm going to come back. Okay? So I'll have to put him outside. Thank you. Be right back. Okay, so I started by picking up a series of beads, and the beads, the amount of beads that I picked up are going to fit around my dowel here. I started by picking up 2 11s, an 8, 2 11s, an 8, 2 11s, an 8, 2 11s, an 8. Now you're going to continue that series. It's going to be 6 8s and then 2 11s in between, starting with 2 11s. Okay? And what we're going to do is we're just going to turn this into a circle. So I'm just going to sew back through my beads. And if you can get through them one shot, fantastic. Now I'm going to grab onto my tail so I don't accidentally pull it through. And I'm just going to pull that in a circle. And I will tie a couple of knots here to secure it. If I was going through this piece again, I probably wouldn't tie a knot. Because I'm not, I'm going to tie about 3 knots, and then I won't worry about it. And then I'm going to cut my tail after. So I'm coming out of this bead, and I'm just going to get away from my knot, and I'm going to go through a few beads. And as I pull, like a little tug, my knot went into a bead. And I'm going to exit this 8, size 8. I will take my scissors or my cutters here, excuse me. And I'm going to go ahead and cut this knot. Place this on my dowel. It's nice and snug. Snug, not too tight though. Okay, so here we start the netting. This is going to be repetitious until you have the length that you want. So I'm coming out of an 8, and the series of beads I'm going to be picking up is 2 11s, an 8, and 2 11s. I'm skipping the next 8, and I'm sewing through the following 8. I will pull, and just like that flat piece netting that I showed you before, it's going to make the same effect. Okay, we'll do that again. Pick up 2 11s, an 8, 2 11s. I'm skipping this 8, the next one, and I'm going through the next one. And I'm going to pull tight. I want my tension to be tight on this. Now, picking up 2 11s, an 8, 2 11s. Now I'm going to do my step up, okay? So I'm coming out of this 8 over here, skipping this 8, going into the next 8. And then it's obvious right here that I need to do a step up, because if I pick up the same series, where am I going? So I need to step up by going through these 2 11s and the next 8. Whoops, and I pulled it right off my dowel. Just a second. Okay, let's do another row. 2 11s. An 8, 2 11s. Coming out of this 8, now it's going to be really obvious, because whatever 8 is sticking out is the one you're going in. See, this one's going in, this one's sticking out. So I'm going to go through that one. And by keeping my tension, I'm just going to give it a pull and hang on to this with my thumb. 2 11s, an 8, 2 11s. Skipping this innie 8 and going through this outer 8. And then 2 11s, an 8, 2 11s. Now here's my step up again. So you're going to see it. So I'm skipping this 8 here. I'm going through the 8 sticking out, and then up through the 11s and out the 8. Holding my beads and pulling tight. And that's it. Okay? Now, when you're measuring this, here, let me do my piece, okay? And then I'm going to show you how to measure, because I can't really show you here, because it's as you pull, you're going to see like the diamond shapes. So let me do my piece. So for example, if your full piece is going to be like 7.5 inches, you want to leave about 1/2 inch for your clasp. So I did mine about 6.5 to 7 inches actually. I did 7 inches. So I'm going to do my piece. Just keep, that's it. That's the repetition. You're going to pick up, now we're starting a new round, pick up 2 11s and 8 2 11s. You're going to skip this 8 here, and you're going into the one sticking out. Keep doing that around, and then do your step up. Okay, you won't be able to miss the step up because it's going to look funny, and that's the only way you need to, that's the only way the only way to go. Okay. So I will do my piece, and then I will be back to show you how to measure it. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, so I've beaded my piece, and I'm not going to measure it like this, obviously. I'm going to stretch it out. And when I put the bicones in between, it is going to stretch it out, okay? So mine is going to be, like I said, 7.5 inches about. So my piece measures actually, oh, wait a second, 6 inches. So my piece is actually going to be 7 inches. Okay? Because I'm taking into consideration the clasp. So you want to stretch it out, and then if it's for you, just put it around your wrist, and you should leave yourself a little bit here for the clasp. Okay? So now the next step, this was super fun to do, so soothing doing this weave, I must say. Now, once you've put on your last row, you will reinforce, go through some beads, reinforce, and then you're going to exit an 8/0 seed bead right here. I'm going to move in a little bit. Now, because I'm using 3mm bicones, I'm going to pick up 2 15s, a 3mm bicone, and 2 15s. And I'm going to go through the next 8 right above this one. And I'm just going to fill in that gap. And I'm going to pull, and I'm going to push down, because I don't want these sticking up. So just going to push that down a bit. Whoops, out of camera, sorry. Just going to push that down with my thumb, hold it with my thumb, and then pick up 2 15s, a 3mm, 2 15s. I'm coming out of this 8, and I'm going through this 8 right here. I'm going to pull, and I'm going to help that sit down by just pushing it down with my thumb here. 2 15s, 3mm, 2 15s, and I'm coming to the end here, so I'm coming out of this 8, I'm going to go through this 8, and pull. So now I've completed my first round. Now I need to get over to start building over here. So I'm coming out of this 8, and then I'm going to sew through diagonally through these 2 11s and up this 8. Now, if I was using 4mm bicones, if you don't have 3mm and you're using 4mm, you will pick up 1 15 only and 1 bicone, okay? But we're using 3mm. So 2 15s, a 3mm, 2 15s, coming out of this 8, going into the next 8. And that's it. And I'm going to make sure that these pop in, hold it with my thumb, just to keep the tension. Now, see how important this dowel is? Because when I made this the first time, I didn't use a dowel, and I was pulling, and what it did was it collapsed the piece as I was pulling, and the bicones pushed in, and it looked really, really crooked and wonky. So that's why it's important. Coming to the end of my row here, going through the 8, pull, I'm going to go through the diagonally to the left, the 2 11s, up the 8, and that's it. I'm going to do that all the way around until I get to the end. So it's super important when you measure to really stretch out your weave, because as I'm putting these crystals in, it's expanding the whole piece. Pull and push in, and and what's fun about this is that you can even change the color of your bicones as you go. Like you can do one row. Oh, there's Frankie eating. Oh, well. God love him. Okay. So you could do like one row a color of bicones, the second row different color. Change it up a little bit. I love these sparkly bracelets. Up this 8. And then go diagonally. Now, what I found was, if you want to change direction, for example, let's say you don't want to keep going this way, but you want to work the other way. I'm just going to go up the 2 11s. I'm going to turn my work. That's, of course, if you want to do that. I'm going to go up these 2 11s just to change direction. And I did do that on my other piece because I felt that I wanted to hold my crystals here. And I'm just going to move my way back up here and just go in the other direction. No big deal. Just as long as you're following your thread path. So I'm going to continue this fun process, super, super fun. And then I'm going to show you how to do the clasp. Because, beading, it's all in making it that's fun. Because then when it's done, you look at it and then, go on to a new project. So I just love beading. I just love it, love it, love it. Okay, so I'm going to continue my piece all the way to the end. And then I'm going to show you how to do this, which is super important because the piece is a little bit wide. I'm going to show you how to decrease or make a little make it so that this wire doesn't flop through, because if you don't, it will, like this did a little bit. I didn't do this side very well, because otherwise it's going to do that, right? I have to fix this. So I'm going to show you how to tighten this piece up so that that doesn't happen. Okay, so continue on your piece. I'm going to continue on mine. I'm going to have a fun time, and then I'm going to come back and show you how to do the clasp. Okay, so I've completed all my crystals. Look how nice that looks. Everything is uniform. And now what we're going to do is we're going to be decreasing this piece at the end so that our wire can fit through and not fall through. So I'm coming out this 8 here, and I'm going to pick up 3 15s. And I'm going to skip this 8 here, and I'm going to go through the next one. I can get through it. A little bit tight. Just like this, and I'm going to pull and see what that does. It's going to close up this hole. So now that I'm coming out of this 8, I'm going to pick up 3 15s. Coming out of this 8, skipping this one, going through the next 8. I'm going to pick up 3 15s. I'm coming out of this 8, skipping this 8 and going through the next 8. And we will pull it through. And what that did was it closed up this hole. So now to reinforce, I'm going to go through these beads again. Through the 3/15s, the 8s, and go all the way around. Pull tight. And now I'm just going to cut my thread. So to cut my thread, I'm just going to go through a couple of beads here. I went through there twice, I think. Yeah, twice. And I'm going to go just following my thread path. Through the 8. Then I have some 15s here, so just do that and go through the beads that you want here, just following your thread path. And cut your thread. Now I'm okay here because I went through twice. It's not going to unravel, and I'm just going to cut my thread. Okay, so now I have my piece. So now the next step is I'm going to grab my wire, okay, and I'm going to put this aside for now. And what I'm going to do is take my round nose pliers, go down about 1.5 inches or so, bend 90 degrees, just like this, and then I'm going to take my round nose, go to the biggest part of the round nose and just bring it around to create a loop. Whoops. Just like that. And I'm going to take my other pliers so that I can grab onto this, take my round nose, grab the end, and I'm just going to wrap this around twice or so, maybe just once, doesn't matter. Just like that. That's plenty. Cut the end, take my pliers, push this down. So now I have my little loop here, and I'm going to fish this through carefully because it might poke out the side. So I'm just going to fish this through. And now when I pull, because I did that decrease, it's not going to pull through. Now, at this point here, I'm just going to shape it. I'm going to shape it into a circle. Just like that. And I'm not going to cinch everything up because I don't want it too tight. I want it to be sitting, not too tight. Just sort of pull it out like this, and then I'm going to grab this end, grab it here, do a 90 degree, grab my my round nose pliers, go to the biggest part, do my loop, and then just do it the same thing on this side. Now I'm just going to cut a bit off here. I don't need that much. And I'm just going to wrap on this side. And I'm just going to go ahead and cut that off. Push that in. Now, I'm going to start shaping again. I so prefer this wire core because it's just going to stay like this. It's not going to be, I don't have to worry about it collapsing because it is a netted base with some crystals, and I don't